Hi, my name is Giselle Ariano. I'm a sophomore in techniques in quantitative analysis, and I'm going to be doing digital badging today with my analytical balance, measuring salt in a weight paper and a beaker. So first, I'm going to check the doors to make sure that they're completely closed and no air comes in, and then I'm going to tar it to make sure it's 0, 0, checking that it's 0, 0. Also making sure the doors are closed. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my beaker inside, and I'm going to close the doors once again because I want to get rid of the weight of the beaker. So I'm going to put the beaker and then I'm going to tar it again to make sure it's at 0, 0. So then the weight showing when I measure the salt is only accounting for the salt. Again, here I'm making sure that the doors are completely closed so that no air seeps in, because that can affect the number that shows on the weight. And my phone was on a clip, so it's hard to zoom in. So hopefully my hand can allow you to see the number when I tar it and when I'm weighing. So right now it's kind of fluctuating, so I'm just making sure that it's close to 0, 0 as I could possibly get. So now I'm opening the doors, and now I'm going to be weighing 1 gram of salt. So right now I'm grabbing the salt, and I'm still grabbing the salt. So now I have my salt and I have my materials ready. I was setting up my materials off camera. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go really close because you do not want to spill anything. And I'm putting my salt in the beaker to weigh it properly. And yeah, you just keep going, making sure that you don't spill all around you, and making sure that you don't put too much at a time, because then you can miss your mark. So again, we're trying to measure 1 gram. So now I think I'm close to it. I'm just gonna add a little bit more, a little bit less, probably a little bit more. And just checking if it's the closest possible I could get. So now I'm going to close the doors to get an accurate measurement, because again, the air is going to mess with it. And as you can see, I got to one as close as possible as I could. And again, I closed the doors and I made sure everything was really closed and well. So now I carefully took it out. I'm going to close the door once again, and I'm going to tar it to prepare for the next. Okay, we're back. My name is Giselle Ariano. I'm a sophomore in techniques in quantitative analysis, and today we're going to be doing the digital badging with the analytical balance using white paper. So we're going to start now. So again, I'm going to check the doors to make sure that they're completely closed, and then I'm going to tar it to make sure that I get a good neutral starting point. Again, checking the doors. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my weight paper and I'm going to fold it twice diagonally, so then it would be a good setting for my salt when I weigh it. So again, here I'm folding the paper 2 times. I'm going to open the door and put the paper in. And again, I don't want to account for the weight of the paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the doors and make sure they're completely closed. And then I'm going to tar it once again. Here you can see, again, I can't zoom in because my phone is on a clip and it's really hard to take out. So I was putting my hand to make sure that you see the numbers. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spatula and I'm going to take the salt. And then I remembered that I was right-handed, so I switched to make it easier for me to make sure that I don't spill the salt, because it would be really bad if you spill the salt, because then your measurement will not be accurate. So what I'm doing is I'm carefully placing the salt on the weighing paper until I get the 1 gram that I need for the experiment. Just continuously putting the salt on the weighing paper Making sure don't put too much because I don't want to miss my mark, but don't put too little as to take a lot of time. So now here what I'm doing is I'm looking to see if I'm close enough, making like waiting for the numbers to settle down on the scale. I'm going to close the doors to get a more accurate measurement. And here you can see the number that I have on my scale, hopefully through the shadow of my hand, again, because I cannot zoom in. But here is the number. I tried to get to one as close as possible. 1 gram of salt is what we needed for this experiment. And so now I'm going to reopen the doors, and we're about to do a quantitative transfer of the salt. So what I'm going to do is going to pick up the white paper very carefully, making sure that no salt is spilled, making sure that all the salt that I weighed is going to be all the salt that I'm transferring. So I have a empty beaker, so I'm going to pour the salt into the beaker, but when you pour it, there would be still salt left on your weight paper. So what you want to do is you want to grab your wash bottle and you want to wash the paper to make sure that you get all the little grams of salt remaining after the pour into the beaker that you're pouring your salt in, to make sure that you get a good quantitative transfer. And as you can see here, the paper is indeed wet and there is no salt left on my weight paper. So now I'm going to use this for my next experiment.